All right, guys. So, welcome to episode 1 of my podcast, No Boundaries. All right. So, basically, we are going to be talking about, on today's topic, we're going to be talking about identity theft, right? This is not a topic that I hear a lot of people talking about, but I talk to people every day when I'm out and about. And when I said every day, I don't mean like literally every day, but I do talk to people that are experiencing identity theft right now. And I have gone through identity theft and I'm still going through identity theft. And so actually, I want to take some time to talk about this, right? This is an epidemic in our country. And for some reason, we have people that really and truly, they don't want to work. I don't understand why people don't want to work, right? And so people just believe that, hey, they don't have to work. And they believe that what is yours is theirs. And so identity theft is billions of dollars is what is being used to combat identity theft. But there are billions of dollars that are being associated with identity theft every single year. Right? We have people that have had their identity stolen. We have had people that I have seen and read who basically had SIM swap done on their phones. I have had that happen to me. And not only did SIM swap, I know I saw a story of a gentleman who, I don't know if you guys saw this and heard of the story as well, but there was a gentleman who went into the gym and basically went to work out, left his wallet, and also left his wallet and his phone in the locker. Went to the gym to work out, right? And left his wallet, right? The man has a right to leave his wallet and his phone in the locker while he's working out. Well, obviously, somebody else didn't think that because the guy went in and basically stole the man's wallet and basically took the SIM card out of the guy's phone and did a SIM swap and was able to get buy $80,000 worth of Rolex watches. So I probably need to do a follow-up on that story and see whatever happened to that guy. I know there were pictures posted on social media of them looking for him. So yeah, that's several incidents. And you have people that have their credit cards being stolen. And that's another thing that is going on. People, you've got to be careful where you use your credit cards. There are people that are stealing credit card numbers. And actually, not only are they able to steal your credit card numbers, but they are able to wash that number and reproduce it on another card. I actually got a call when I was in church and my bank had asked me, hey, are you at Walmart right now? And I was like, no, I'm in a whole different state at church. And come to find out, somebody had, don't ask me how they did it, was able to get a hold of my debit card numbers, and it was at Walmart shopping, right? So we have the credit card fraud, we have debit card fraud, we also have identity theft where, listen, ever since 2020, when we had that PPP loan, right, that was happening. And there were so many people, if you go back through and just even Google federal indictments, how many people have been federally indicted for fraud? I don't understand it. I don't understand why people think that if you commit a crime that you're not going to be caught. I don't understand why people don't understand that. And so look from the PPP loans. So many people are being and have been arrested for basically falsifying documentation, stealing people's identity, i.e. social security number, to commit fraud, to get PPP loans. That's identity theft, right? And so these people don't even understand that when you do stuff like this, this is considered a federal crime, right? So we have credit card fraud, checking account fraud, debit card fraud. We also have this thing that is becoming prevalent right now, and that's SIM swapping, right? Somebody can get a hold of your device information, whether it's your IMEI, get your IMEI, your ICCID, get your phone number, and somebody can do a SIM swap and switch the SIM from your phone to their phone and be able to steal your identity that way and to be able to steal your information that way. That seriously, guys, is one of the number one crimes that is happening in our country right now with identity theft. Like, people are literally stealing people's identity, right? To be able to commit fraud. I don't understand why people are doing that. Like, somebody explain to me why you would steal someone else's identity, right? So that you can take that information and go get money. Like, honestly, I don't understand that. So that's another crime, and that is a big crime. Another thing that is going on is that people have devices nowadays that they're able to use and ping your phone, which means somebody can walk by you with an app on their phone and they're able to ping your phone and collect the data from your phone and get access to your phone that way, right? So people, we've got to be careful of all. I don't know what's going on with my chair, but yeah, here we go. But people, we've got to be careful. With all these fraud and all these different things that are going on out there, you have to protect yourself. You have to protect yourself. You cannot allow yourself to be a victim of identity theft. You got to stay on top of things. And I will give you some tips and things that you need to do so you can stay on top of your identity theft and how to protect yourself from it. Listen, number one, be careful for people who just come up to you, people who basically just want to be friends with you out of the blue. Be careful of people who are always asking you questions about your personal business, trying to find things out about you. Be careful of people like that, because 9 times out of 10, sometimes the reason why they're asking you questions is to get an idea of, does this person have money? Like, get as much information as they can, as possible from you to be able to put together and commit that identity theft. And then also too, we have employees that work for some of these companies, like phone companies, internet companies, people that have access to your personal information. And not everybody that works for these companies basically have integrity and character. And so sometimes the fraud is happening within that company, right? So identity theft is a huge thing that's going on right now. And I honestly believe that nobody is talking about it. People are not talking about what is happening with identity theft, right? I am a victim of identity theft. I can tell you how I know what's going on because I stay on top of monitoring everything that's happening with me with this identity theft, right? You also have people that can spoof your phone number. I've had people call me and said, hey, we receive a call from you. And I'm thinking, I have never talked to this company. I didn't know anything about this company until they reached out to me. And then the lady was like, oh yeah, we've been having several calls from all these numbers that we don't know. That means somebody is spoofing your number and using your phone number to commit fraud, right? Then on top of that, we also have real estate fraud. That is a big thing right now, where people are using people's identity to, for example, buy properties, acquire loans. Like, I don't understand why these people, I think people think that, when they set out to commit identity theft and commit fraud, I honestly believe that these people do not think all the way through. Because if they did think all the way through, number one, it's a federal crime to use someone else's identity. It's a federal crime to impersonate somebody else, right? And so some of the agencies that do investigate federal crime, I know the Department of Justice does, the FBI, Secret Service, of course, your local police department, but you have to stay on top of your identity. Like, you have to make sure that you're, number one, make sure you're changing your passwords. And talking about passwords, another big thing that these people are doing right now is that these people are basically trying to get into your phone. Once they get into your phone, they're getting into your Apple ID. Once they're getting to your Apple ID, they're trying to get into your email, right? Especially the email that is linked to all your different accounts. So please make sure you're changing your passwords frequently. Pay attention to emails that are being sent to you. Oh, another thing. If you, for some reason, keeps getting email, or you're getting email from a person that you do not know, that's another form of identity theft that these people are doing. What these people are doing, they are sending email with malware and spyware on it. And when you open that email explodes, I should say, on your phone, right? And then you have such things like keylogger, that comes out for just an email that you open that you're not supposed to open. So monitor your emails. Make sure that you're not giving your email to anybody that does not deserve your email, first of all. And then be careful who you give out your email to. Make sure you're giving it out to somebody with a purpose and not just somebody, trying to figure out, what, can we get your email so we can contact you? Make sure you're paying attention to who you're giving out your personal information to. Comes to personal information, let's talk about that. Make sure you keep your address, social security number, date of birth, and all those pertinent information that is pertinent to you. Make sure that you are seriously protecting those. Don't just give out your information to give out your information, right? You want to make sure you check that off. Your phone number. Don't just give out your phone number to anybody. Don't do it. One of the biggest crimes that is happening right now and that people are doing is that people are spoofing people's phone number. Like I said before, you may not believe it, but people will spoof your phone number and get a code. Whether your code for your bank, for all these different organizations, companies, that is personal to you, to your identity. Don't just give out your phone number to give out your phone number, right? So make sure you pay attention to different things like that. One of the things I do encourage people to do, and I've had to do it, freeze your credit as well. Make sure your credit is frozen. Make sure you stay on top of it. Make sure you pull your report. Make sure information that is on your credit is correct. And there's nothing there's no addresses, no phone number that is on your credit that does not belong to you. If you see something like that, you need to get that disputed right away. So it is so important for us to make sure that we are staying on top of our personal information. Make sure you're staying on top of your credit. Make sure you're checking your bank account. Make sure that if you get an email that says, hey, you purchased something on Amazon, pay attention to that. If you didn't buy anything from Amazon, you need to call your bank, call Amazon, verify it. Make sure that there are no transactions that was emailed to you that you did not do. If you did not do it, then make sure that you do notify these people and said, hey, I did not purchase anything on Amazon, right? So you've got to stay on top of your personal information. You've got to make sure you stay on top of your identity, right? Be careful of where you swipe your debit card. A lot of people say cash is king, and you just got to be careful. Make sure you're monitoring where you spend your credit card or your debit card, where you're spending those two cards. Be careful who you're giving out the information to. Honestly, if you don't know of somebody, if you're not 100% sure, please do not give out your debit card information over the phone. Do not do that, because if you can, make sure you pay it online and make sure your online is secure. And another thing that I want to share with you guys, when you're paying bills online, I actually don't like to pay bills online because of what's going on with identity theft. But if you are going to do business with or pay any bill online, make sure that company has an SSL, a security license, right? Make sure that their website is secure. If you don't see that lock, like that padlock in your browser, when you are using that that website for that company, do not use it. Send it in the mail, right? Because that is one of the ways that if it does not have an SSL security certificate, to not use it, that means that that website is not secure. If you go to pay a bill and up at the top it says not secure from any website, or if you go to a website and in the browser it says not secure, do not use that browser, right? So you have all that different things that is happening. How do I know this? Because I have been through it. One of the biggest and number one scam that is happening right now is with our phones. It is with our phones. You hear me? As much as a lot of us love our phones and we can't do without our phones, we need to make sure that basically we're monitoring our phones. Pay attention to your phone. Make sure there is nobody connecting to your phone. If you get on your phone and it popped up and said, hey, send a security code, do not send a security code. If it asks you to confirm a security code and you did not initiate that, do not do that. That's another person that is trying to connect to your phone. If on your phone it says that you're in a location or an area that you know that you've never been, you're not associated with that area, pay attention to your phone. Immediately change your password, sign out of all devices, right? Because that is one of the number one and tell signs that somebody has connected to your phone. Check your browser and check where your location is. Does your location say that you're in Arizona and you're in Texas, right? So pay attention to that. If you're in Texas and it's saying, hey, your IP address is showing Arizona, then you know something is wrong because clearly you're not in Arizona, you're in Houston, Texas. So pay attention to those different things. Check your banking account and check your transactions often. Check it weekly. If you're suspicious of anything, go into your banking center and have them review all the transactions that are happening. Sometimes these people that are committing fraud, in my experience when I worked in banking and I've seen a lot of fraud, some of the things that these people do, they will do small charges. And over a period of time, those charges get bigger. But if you're not, you have some people that are so busy that they're not paying attention to their checking account. And if you're not paying attention to your checking account, then how do you know what is happening in your finances, right? So let's do a recap, right? Identity theft is one of the worst things that anybody can go through, right? It is, honestly, people describe it as a nightmare, and it is a nightmare because your entire identity is stolen by somebody else. And another form of identity theft is when you have somebody else trying to impersonate you. Like, I don't understand, like, why you feel like you can impersonate me. I don't understand that. This face, there's only one face that looks like Shelly and Andrew Hennis, right? There's only one person that sounds like me. But what these people will do, I have heard and I've seen other people and I have experienced it. Sometimes these people, when the way that they do identity theft, like honestly, they will call somewhere else pretending to be you and basically use your information. I said it, use your information to commit fraud. So basically, people, you want to make sure that you are staying on top of your identity. Don't take your identity not seriously. You only have one identity, especially your social, your date of birth, and all pertinent information pertaining to you. Please make sure you stay on top of that. And you know, if you are a victim of identity theft, please make sure you report it to your local police department. And do not stop. Make sure that something is being done to get this issue fixed. Another department is the FBI. You can send it in through ic3.gov and send in all the evidence screenshots that you have so that the FBI can get involved. Another agency that deals with identity theft, believe it or not, is the Secret Service. There's a part of the Secret Service that does deal with identity theft. And you talk to them, they'll walk you through the steps and things that you need to do. Believe it or not, there's another agency that does that in the Department of Justice. I was actually researching that today. So let's do a recap. When it comes to identity theft, please make sure you stay on top of your credit information. Review your credit monthly. Seriously, we're living in a crazy time, right? Make sure you're reviewing your credit. Make sure if there's any addresses or names on your credit, that is not you. Please dispute it with the credit bureaus right away. Do not delay. Do not say, oh my gosh, take care of it, right? Make sure that you're monitoring your checking account, monitoring all your transactions that are being made. If you have a credit card, make sure you check your credit card purchases. Make sure all the transactions were done by you, right? Check your phone. Make sure you're not having any apps on your phone that you did not install. Make sure that basically that everything that is on your phone, you put it there. Make sure that your Apple ID password is being changed frequently. Make sure you monitor that. Do not give out your personal information to anybody that is not supposed to have it. i.e., that is social, date of birth, phone number, anything that, and your social security number. Make sure you protect those seriously, right? And make sure when you go to the gas station, if you can, pay inside versus putting your debit card in the pump. When I was in the little slot when you're pumping gas, when I was in banking, one of the common fraud that we saw was like gas station, and these were people that put their cards in outside the and I have a notification coming up, but outside. And so sometimes another fraud I forgot to talk about. How could I have forgotten that? Is your local bank. Please make sure. Our ATMs? Oh my God. So you have people that are out there that are inserting, right, credit card readers in the ATM. That's another big fraud that is happening right now. And so you put your debit card in the card reader and you have no idea. Put it in the ATM, the little slot where you put in to get your money out. You put your debit card in there, right? If you don't pay attention, then people are going around to different ATMs and they're putting in card readers, and you're not aware that there's a card reader there. And what they will do when you put your debit card in there, those people will steal your credit. Sometimes they are not far from where that ATM is. And you put your credit card in, your debit card in, and your PIN number. And that's how people are capturing people's debit card information and their PIN. And that's why they're taking people's information and go and reproduce it. And that's why you'll be at home and somebody across the country is using your debit card. It's a big thing that is going on. So please make sure you are careful where you use your debit cards, right? Identity theft is real, and it sometimes take a long time just to get your life back together after you've been a victim of identity theft. So you guys want to make sure that, please make sure that your identity is being kept, even your passports. There's a little pouch, I don't have it right now. There's a little pouch that I walk with and that I carry, and that you guys want to make sure that you start getting, if you have credit card and debit cards, make sure you put them in an RFID wallet. You can find those all over. Make sure you put your credit cards in there. If a lot of people, you see them, they'll have them on the back of their phones. Get an RFID credit card that those actually block people from electronically pinging and reading your credit card and debit card information. So make sure you get those. There are also some that is available that you can put your phone and your passport and different things like that. But the reason why I'm sharing these tips with you guys, because I have been and I've experienced identity theft and still dealing with it. And I wanted to bring an awareness about identity theft and how to protect yourself. How do you protect yourself from identity theft? Some of it is inevitable, but some of it, there's steps that you can take to protect yourself from identity theft. So thank you so much for joining me on episode 1 of No Boundaries. I hope there's something that I've shared with you today that will help you, whether you're somebody who has recovered from identity theft, or if you're somebody that is dealing with identity theft, right? Or just to protect you from going through the things that myself and other people have gone through regarding identity theft. Please make sure you protect your identity at all costs. Follow some of the steps that I have shared with you if you are a victim of identity theft. And if you notice anything suspicious, like I said, in your emails, if you get an email from somebody you do not know, delete it, right? Do not open it, delete it, because there could be possible malware or spyware in an email that once you open it, it completely takes over your phone, right? So please make sure of that. Please make sure who you give your information to. Please be careful where you spend your debit card. And also too, when you're at the gas station, if you can be careful as far as some of these gas stations that do have people that will go out there and insert chip readers, card readers in at the gas station outside to steal your information. Also, we can recap about SIM swap. That is a big thing right now that is happening, where people are doing SIM swaps on people's phones to be able to steal their identity and ultimately get access to their personal information, to checking accounts, try to steal money from you and different things like that. You have to protect yourself and do what is necessary to make sure that your identity is being protected. So thank you so much for joining me on this episode of No Boundaries. And so if you have any questions, any suggestions, if you want to share your story, please comment below, and I will try to answer any questions that you may have. If you want to share your experience that you've had with identity theft as well, please feel free to do so. We're all in this life together, and there's nothing like supporting each other, providing support to each other, or just even being there for each other, regardless of whatever stage you're in the process. And if you're somebody that have never been affected by identity theft, awesome. Just make sure that you continue to make all the necessary take all the necessary steps to be able to continue to protect yourself from identity theft, because identity theft is literally insane. And we have people, like I said, when I started out the podcast, that do not want to work, and they just want to be able to take what people have worked hard for, which is ridiculous. People have worked hard for everything that they have. And so just to have somebody come out and feel as if, hey, you know what? I can just come and take what you have is insane. And do not be afraid to prosecute these people. If you find out whoever is doing this, get with your local district attorney office, contact your attorney general. Like I said, speak to your local police department, but make sure the person that participate in this, make sure that they are prosecuted to the fullest. I think it is such a crazy thing to do when we're in this world, and whatever somebody else has accomplished and they've worked hard for it, I believe that you can put in the same hard work and achieve your goals. But yeah, we have people who do not want to do that. They just feel like, hey, I'm just gonna steal what somebody else has worked hard for. And guys, we're not gonna let it happen. So thank you so much for joining me on episode 1, and stay tuned for episode 2. This is the podcast, No Boundaries. And no boundaries meaning there's no limit onto what we will talk about on here and different topics and different trends, like I said before, or what is it happening in our country right now. We are going to be talking, and we're definitely going to be talking about the election in upcoming episodes. We are going to be talking about the election. We are going to be talking about the seriousness of making sure that you are registered to vote. We're coming up on 4 years next year for the election. So make sure that you're registered to vote in your local county area. Make sure all your information is correct so you take care of that ahead of time. But that's going to be another podcast. But that's a podcast that I'm definitely going to be talking about, because we see so many things that are happening in our country right now. And a lot of us are so frustrated with what has happened and what is happening. But the way that we make changes, right, is that we vote. You vote in the right people that can affect change on the local level, the federal level, nationwide level. Like, seriously, we have to get out there and vote, right? I voted in the last election, and I am voting for my rights and for the rights of others and kids who cannot speak, right? We want to make sure that we're doing our due diligence and doing our part in society to make sure that all of us are living the life that we are meant to live. Another thing that we're going to be talking about is homelessness. And I would like to have a guest on to talk about this homelessness epidemic that we're having, right? And I know LA, shout out to the mayor. Oh God, I would love to have the mayor on this podcast. Man, I'm probably reach out to them and find out, because she has done an incredible job so far since she's came into power, and just with the swiftness and the urgency that the mayor of Los Angeles, shout out to you if you ever see this podcast, because I honestly take my hat off to you. Because when I moved to California in 2019, December 2019, and then in 2020 when we were shut down for the pandemic, and I was in LA before I came to Orange County, and listen, that homelessness situation was insane. Like, I remember just driving and just seeing people under the bridges, and there were some areas that I went to that I saw people basically that had tent along the street that I have never seen in my life. And so I just want to give kudos to the mayor of LA, just the hard work that you have done just to be able to support and get all these. I know you haven't gotten everybody off the street yet, but you have made the dent in the homelessness in LA, and I'm super excited of what I'm seeing, and I just want to give kudos to you. Thank you so much for taking the role that you've given and the office that you've given and making a difference in the lives of those people. And I want to say kudos to you. Anyways, we're going to get off here, but thank you so much for tuning in to No Boundaries, and we will see you in the next episode. Shelly and Hennis here, signing off.